What's up, everyone? It's Rey-Jay back with another video. And in this one, I want to break down what's happening with SPY, Tesla, Nvda, the QQQ, and a couple of other tickers. And break down what's happening with the overall market moving forward as we're seeing new developments on the charts, not to mention some critical tests that are going on in the markets right now. Let me just mention that I am not a financial planner. Make sure you take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out the Moomoo link. Deposit $100 and you're guaranteed 5 free stocks. Deposit $1,000 and you're guaranteed 15. The offer ends in just 1 week. Anyways, guys, the way we close for today is going to be very important for SPY and the markets. For tomorrow, just note that we have some data coming out an hour before the market opens. We have some important GDP numbers coming out. This might cause a big move for the markets too, so we'll just have to wait and see what these look like. So this is going to be some important data tomorrow morning, so we'll see what this leads to. But despite that, the market's not looking too good in my opinion. So on the 4-hour time frame, SPY has this critical support at the 200 EMA at 541.95. If we lose that, if we close below that, it's going to be a bad sign for tomorrow. So I'm a little bit concerned about this. If we need to get a follow through move as well. So if we close below that, that's like strike one. And then if we continue to dip below it tomorrow, it's going to be strike two. And SPY is going to turn very, very weak. And we're going to be looking for an even bigger sell off to much lower levels. So you want to be very careful here. We have to see if we get some kind of rebound back up of 542 by tomorrow or not. But we're looking very, very bearish. We're looking very, very weak. There's no sign of a bounce. It's been just dipping and dipping and dipping like there's no tomorrow. It's continuing to fall very, very hard. And something else I just wanted to call out. So with the market dipping like this, guys, you want to be very, very careful. SPY is looking more bearish, but look at 542 as resistance. If we get back above that, 544 is the next target, but we're not even close to that. We're actually looking more bearish. And I want to call out something. So if you look at the daily time frame on SPY, you'll notice that right here, we basically have the last supports at 540. So we got to hold 540 now. If we don't hold 540 by tomorrow or in the next couple of days, it's a huge gap to fill all the way down to about the 536 area. So we're going to likely come down to fill that gap, and that's going to cause even more downsides. So you want to be very careful. We're looking very bearish. A big red bar has formed. It's not looking too good, favoring bears. So just be careful. We'll have to see if we get a follow to move below 540. If we hold below 542, there's a high probability, of that happening. So just be very careful. For others out there like Nvda has lost 115. That's a bad sign because we have a gap to fill on the 4-hour all the way down here towards 110. So I see a risk of Nvda dipping lower. If we don't reclaim 115 and 118, we're going to likely come down to 110. Not looking too good, favoring the bears. Bitcoin is also starting to dip. Look, it's a test of 65,500. It's going to likely dip lower to fill that imbalance. So I see some downside forming for it if we end up losing that support. For ES, actually ES is right here. It's looking very bearish. We lost 5,500. We're continuing to fall. We have a big gap to fill on ES, so I could be looking for 54.34 now. So far, it's starting to fill that gap, so it's favoring downside for the markets. For SPX, it's the same thing. Essentially, have this big gap to fill all the way down here towards 53.76. So it's favoring downside as well. We're looking more bearish. For the QQQ, it's continuing to fall. It failed to hold 464. So my target is now 462. If that fails, that's where we have previous resistance becoming support at 462. If that fails, we could be all on our way all the way down to about the 458 area. That's where we have this first imbalance. The 450s are coming if we fail to hold above 462. So it's looking more bearish, continuing to fall. Apple's struggling to hold 218. Not a good sign. We had to hold 218. If we don't hold this going into tomorrow, we're easily going to be coming back down to 216 to test the previous resistance. If that fails us, 214 is coming, or 212 is coming all the way down to this imbalance. So Apple's looking bearish to me. For the IWM, we're dipping right now. We have this imbalance to fill all the way down here towards 217. I think 217.5 is coming. IWM looks more bearish, so just be careful with that. For Coinbase, we're looking more bearish. Make sure you look at support at 243.5. If that fails us, this imbalance will fill down to 236. So we're going to likely test 243.5 and see what kind of reaction we get. We still look more bearish. Amazon's on a bit of a downtrend. One concern I have for Amazon is the fact that we have a head and shoulders. We have a left shoulder here, a head right here, then a right shoulder. If we lose support around 180, we'll be dipping all the way down towards 175. So I do favor downside right there. Meta is also looking a little bit more bearish. We have 460 as key support. If this fails, we'll be dipping all the way down towards 454. So look for 460 to be tested, and 454 is likely coming next. This favors downside. Microsoft is also favoring downside. If we continue to fall, I'll be looking at this wick all the way down here towards 425. If that fails, we'll be continuing to fall all the way down to 412. But I do see a risk of us dipping all the way down over here towards this 425 area. So give that some time. For Google, Google's also on a bit of a downtrend, kind of got this rejection right here. We'll be looking for a risk all the way down towards 171. So I do see a risk of Google dipping lower towards 171. Be careful, guys. There is more risk in my personal opinion. If you look at others, the memes, I know a lot of people are interested in these. GameStop is going to likely dip all the way down towards, well, it's barely holding 24 right now. So I do see it dipping towards 22. Looks bearish. AMC is also looking very bearish. Fails to hold $5. We're going to likely come all the way down towards 4.4. So the market is just straight up bearish, continuing to fall. We will see how well SPY closes. Can we close at 542 or not? If we close above this, there is some hope for a bounce tomorrow, but we'll have to wait and see if we get a follow through move. So be very, very mindful of this, and let's see what kind of close we get. But as of right now, the charts and technicals are favoring the downside. So that hasn't changed just yet. So keep that in the back of your guys' minds. With that being said, guys, one question many people may have is this going to be a big crash? The answer is I wouldn't necessarily still call it a crash. It still looks more like a correction to me. We haven't lost critical support yet. SPY has not lost 540 yet, or even 536. I think 536 is going to be a magic level, because if we do lose that, if 536 were to break hypothetically, then we could start filling a lot of these gaps down here. We have a lot of gaps to fill down here, especially all the way down to the lower 500s. Those will start filling if we lose critical support, which is all the way down to the previous level. So we could be looking for a test of many of these gaps to get filled if we end up losing 536. We haven't lost 536 yet. So we haven't lost critical support yet. So I wouldn't necessarily count on it quite yet. I'd be a little bit patient and wait and see. But just know that as of right now, the chart is favoring the downside, and the bears have a much bigger edge. All right. So with that being said, I want to thank you all once again for listening. I hope you guys have a great day. I'll be back in a couple of hours for one more update for the day. Obviously, the market's making a big move, but always remember that the market's just doing its own thing, whether we like it or not. And it's always just manipulation that plays a big role in how the market ends up moving. So don't worry, guys, about, in case you guys missed a lot of the moves. There's always going to be another day. So stay strong, keep your heads up, and I'll see you guys very soon in just a couple of hours from now. Thank you all so much for listening. Have a great day. Remain calm, cool, and collected, and I'll see you guys very soon on the next one. Thank you, and peace out.